government contractor accidentally admitted in a leaked email that chemtrails are real, and that story spread to 40 million people in 2025 before anyone bothered to check if the email existed. It didn't. But here's the part nobody mentions. The people spreading it weren't fringe weirdos on the internet. Some of them were inside a federal health agency. Welcome, folks. Listen up. 2025 was not a normal year for conspiracy theories. We're not talking flat earth basement blogs anymore. We're talking viral AI-generated deepfakes, government officials flirting with chemtrail folklore, microchip vaccine myths going mainstream, and reality itself becoming a choose-your-own adventure. The line between fringe and federal policy conversation got blurrier than ever, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Today we crack open the 5 wildest conspiracy theories of 2025, look at what the actual evidence says, and let a very calm, very prepared guest tell you what they don't want you to know. Buckle up. We're going in. All right, let's start with what the establishment, scientists, fact-checkers, journalists, the boring people, actually found in 2025. Chemtrails, a fringe concept that airplane vapor trails are actually toxic chemical sprays, has been around since the 1990s, when a Washington state rancher named William Wallace began telling reporters he believed planes were poisoning his wheat field. Atmospheric scientists are unanimous. Those white lines in the sky are condensation trails, water vapor freezing around engine exhaust particles. That's it. That's the whole thing. But in 2025, the chemtrail theory found new oxygen when it began gaining traction within circles connected to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. SHHS and the MAHA Make America Healthy Again movement, according to CNN and KFF Health News. Mainstream science has not changed its position. The trails are contrails, AI deepfakes and fabricated viral stories. According to DW's fact-check team, 2025 marked a turning point in the evolution of disinformation campaigns. AI-generated short videos went viral millions of times, blurring the line between reality and fabrication. Fake videos targeting politicians like French President Emmanuel Macron, fake footage of the Russia-Ukraine war, and manipulated images of public figures spread at unprecedented scale. Fact-checkers confirmed these were synthetic productions, not real events. Vaccine microchips. The claim that COVID-19 vaccines contain microchips for government tracking has been comprehensively debunked since 2020, but in 2025 it evolved. Researchers from UC Davis published analysis noting that people come to believe in microchip vaccines for the same psychological reasons they believe anything else. Personal experience and pattern recognition gone haywire. There is zero verified evidence of tracking technology in any approved vaccine. Flat Earth, still here, still wrong, still occasionally fatal. Researcher Mad Mike Hughes died in 2020 launching a homemade rocket to see the flatness. And the flat Earth belief system has been, as UC Davis researchers noted, disproven since ancient Greece. In 2025, new flat Earth content continued spreading on social media with AI-assisted production quality that made it look more credible than ever. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because not everyone dismissing these theories is doing it for clean reasons, and not everyone entertaining them is a crank. The psychology argument. UC Davis researcher Ellie Elster made a genuinely nuanced point in 2025. People believe conspiracy theories for the same cognitive reasons they believe anything: pattern recognition, personal experience, and social trust networks. Dismissing believers as simply crazy misses the point and makes them harder to reach. This is a reputable, evidence-based critique of how mainstream media handles conspiracy coverage. The institutional credibility crisis. Serious academics and journalists have noted that conspiracy theories in 2025 are thriving partly because major institutions, health agencies, governments, media outlets, have genuine track records of withholding information, botching communications, and serving narrow interests. The chemtrail theory, for instance, found sympathetic ears at HHS not because the evidence improved, but because public trust in official science communication had eroded. That's a real, documented problem worth taking seriously. AI disinformation as the real conspiracy. DW's reporting noted that in 2025, some of the most damaging conspiracy-adjacent content was actually state-sponsored disinformation, coordinated campaigns, not random cranks. When the actual conspiracy is a foreign government using AI to manipulate public opinion, the line between conspiracy theory and documented fact gets genuinely complicated. Okay, I've got my guest here, goes by Tinfoil, and Tinfoil, I want you to know I've read the research. I've done the homework. I am ready for you today.
That's what they said about the last guy who looked into the contrail database.
The contrail database. We're starting here. Chemtrails. In 2025, actual people inside a health agency were nodding along to this theory. What's your read?
Look at the timing. The chemtrail conversation didn't resurface randomly. It resurfaced the moment a new administration took over health agencies and started asking questions the previous administration didn't want asked.
So the theory goes mainstream, and that's evidence of the theory. That's very convenient.
I'm not saying the trails are toxic. I'm saying, who funds the atmospheric science that says they're not? Follow the money. Follow the institutional relationships.
Oh, fantastic. We're doing follow the money on clouds.
Not clouds. Persistent contrail patterns over specific agricultural zones. William Wallace noticed it over his wheat field in Washington in the 1990. That's a documented starting point.
The man was plowing a field and saw a plane. Next theory, AI deepfakes. In 2025, fake videos of world leaders spread to millions of people. Get a load of this. Some of them targeted Emmanuel Macron and the Russia-Ukraine war. Who's behind it?
DW's own fact-checkers documented that these weren't random internet trolls. These were coordinated, sophisticated, micro-targeted campaigns.
State actors.
The documents point that direction. And here's the uncomfortable question. If governments are already running AI disinformation campaigns against each other, what makes you think they're not running them on their own citizens?
You cannot be serious right now.
I didn't say I could prove it. I said, ask the question.
I'm asking. No one's answering. Moving on, vaccine microchips. The big one, still circulating in 2025. Still no chips found in any syringe ever anywhere.
Not chips, not yet, but the infrastructure for it already exists. Bluetooth-enabled injectable biosensors are in clinical trials. That's public record. The question isn't, is it possible? The question is, when does possible become policy?
So the theory is wrong, but the vibe is correct. Incredible. You should write fortune cookies.
I'm talking about the pattern, not the current implementation. Laugh now.
Oh, I am laughing. Flat Earth. Still going in 2025. A man died trying to prove it in a homemade rocket. Do we really need to do this one?
Mad Mike Hughes believed it enough to die for it. That level of conviction doesn't come from nothing. It comes from a profound distrust of the institutions that are supposed to explain reality to us.
The Earth is a sphere. We have photos.
We have photos from agencies with budgets, geopolitical interests, and image departments.
It's a sphere.
I'm not saying it's flat. I'm saying the trust deficit that makes people believe it's flat is a real and documented crisis. That part's not a conspiracy. That part's just sociology.
Okay, that's actually a fair point, and I resent it deeply. Last one. The disinformation itself. Some people in 2025 were claiming that fact-checkers are just another layer of institutional control. That debunking is itself a propaganda tool.
Look at who funds the major fact-checking organizations. Look at their board members. Look at which stories get debunked loudly and which ones get quietly walked back 6 months later. The pattern is interesting.
The pattern is always interesting with you. That's your whole thing.
I've said too much. For now.
For now, great. Very reassuring. Here's where everyone, mainstream, alternative, and conspiracy actually agrees, which is wild and worth noting. Trust is broken. Scientists, sociologists, journalists, and conspiracy theorists all agree that institutional credibility is at a historic low in 2025. They just disagree on what to do about it. AI is a genuine threat. Everyone from DW fact-checkers to fringe researchers agrees that AI-generated disinformation in 2025 reached a genuinely dangerous scale. The disagreement is over who is weaponizing it: foreign states, domestic governments, corporations, or all three. Where they diverge, the mainstream says the specific claims, toxic chemtrails, microchip vaccines, flat Earth, are factually wrong, full stop, and the evidence is overwhelming. The conspiracy camp says being factually wrong about the specific claim doesn't mean the underlying suspicion of institutional power is wrong. Both things can be partially true, and that's exactly what makes 2025 conspiracy landscape so hard to navigate. All right, here's the honest scorecard, and I'm going to give it to you straight because that's what we do. Chemtrails, false. The scientific consensus on contrails is solid, peer-reviewed, and reproducible. Atmospheric chemistry is not a cover-up. But in this matters, the fact that a fringe theory gained traction inside a federal agency in 2025 is a real, documented, and concerning story about institutional dysfunction. AI deepfake conspiracies, partially true. The specific viral fakes were fabrications, but state-sponsored AI disinformation campaigns are real and documented. The conspiracy is sometimes real. The specific viral version usually isn't. Vaccine microchips, false. No verified evidence. None. But the erosion of public health trust that fuels this theory is a real public health crisis in its own right. Flat Earth, false. Comprehensively, anciently, fatally false. The cognitive and social science of why people believe it, however, is genuinely fascinating and worth understanding. The meta-conspiracy that fact-checking is itself propaganda. Unproven, but not stupid. Healthy skepticism of all information sources, including the people debunking things, is a sign of a functioning brain, not a tinfoil hat. Verify your fact-checkers, check their funders, read the primary sources. That's not a conspiracy theory, that's just media literacy. The bottom line, 2025's conspiracy theories spread faster, looked more real, and reached higher levels of power than ever before, not because the underlying claims got better, but because the information environment got worse. The answer isn't blind trust in any authority. It's ruthless, evidence-based, source-checking skepticism applied to everyone, including us. That's the 2025 conspiracy file, officially closed, unofficially wide open. Drop your theory in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want the next classified briefing. And remember, the truth doesn't care if you believe it.